Hello and welcome back to the Sweet and Spice Podcast. My name is Kate.
And I'm Cecily.
And today, we will be covering... Words are hard. We will be covering the second book in the Poisoner series by Ophelia. It is called The Arachnid.
Spiders.
And she ends on another cliffhanger. And I don't get the next book until the end of the year.
I don't know how you read those and wait. I'd rather just wait and then read them.
Because when I read the first book, I did not realize that it was going to be a series. And I did not realize when I read the second book, I didn't realize when I started reading the second book that it was not, in fact, a duet, that it was a 3-book series.
Did she just not announce that?
She probably did, and for some reason my Instagram does not like to give me her reels and her, stuff, and it makes me really upset.
The updates.
Yeah, it doesn't give me the updates. So, it's very upsetting.
It's very upsetting. I could not.
So anyway, let's get into the content warnings. Cecily, would you like the fun kinky ones first, or would you like the contents warnings? Because they're separated.
Well, that's disturbing.
Which would you like first? I got them from her website, so.
Save the fun stuff for last.
That's what I was thinking. Alright, ready? Content warning. This is directly from her website. This is a gothic romance and will include explicit sexual scenes. The book will also have elements of horror and mystery, which means there may be depictions of violence and blood. There are. Following some horror elements, death of humans is described along with discussions of grief, pain, and depression. Yes. There is also the discussion of animal death and hunting. These characters may take part in consuming substances or misusing firearms that may not be appropriate and should not be repeated. Specifically,
Valid.
I can think of one right off the top of my head, which is a sawed-off shotgun. That one was cool. Anyway, still don't recommend it. That can be really dangerous. Don't do that. This book shall not be taken as a reliable guide for foraging, as these fantasy creatures can eat things that cannot be consumed by humans without hospitalization. Some scenes include BDSM concepts, which in reality would be performed by experienced partners who have had extensive talks about trust, consent, and boundaries. As always, depiction is not endorsement. So that's the content warnings. The fun ones now are under the kink list.
Dun dun dun.
So, DubCon. Do you remember what DubCon is?
It took me a minute. I don't abbreviate. I am not the generation that abbreviates everything. And it took me a second.
I saw your face huh?
I was like, dubstep convention? What? Anyway.
For those of you who do not know, it's dubious consent.
Yeah, that's probably safer.
Primal. Blood play / vampires. It's vampires, guys. It's gonna have blood stuff in it. Temperature play. Breath play. Risk awareness.
That sounds like a work case study.
A unique form of nodding.
Oh my.
Chasing / hunting. Degradation. Sadism / masochism. And impact play.
It's quite the list. These are the same characters from the first book, right?
Yes. It is a continuation of the first book. So, I don't believe I talked about the ending of the first book. So for those of you who have not read it, I would go read it and then come back, because I'm about to spoil a lot.
All the spoils.
So the first thing that you need to know is at the end of the first book, she had been kidnapped by the Nest, which is run by the main male character, Silas's dad.
Mm-hmm.
You also learn that Phoebe, her best friend, is actually Silas's sister and is also a vampire, Vipera is what they call them. So, yeah. But anyway, she was kidnapped by the Nest. Oh no. Oh no. You're frozen. We're gonna wait until Cecily comes back here. She's frozen. Oh, she's disappeared. Oh, there you are. Hello. You're back.
You froze on my end, and I'm sending you the picture because it's hilarious.
Dude, you froze, and then your screen went black. And
That's
I
what
said,
yours did.
"Oh no." Did it really?
Yeah, so I don't know
I think it's your network, because mine says it's fine.
It says network is struggling. Primary uploads are slow.
Yeah.
I have
Anyway,
concerns. And no
we're gonna
one's
keep
home
going.
on the internet but me, so I'm like, what the heck?
Is it cloudy?
It is sunny and hot. So
That's horrid.
I don't know.
Oh, I just got your picture. Hold on.
The internet is, doing what it wants out here.
I look like an insane physicist theorist. That's amazing.
You look like you're in the middle of some kind of theory, or like the guy on the meme where he's got the board from whatchamacallit.
This thing?
Yeah, that guy.
Wasn't he from
Sunny in Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Was it Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
He was in other stuff too.
Yeah. Okay, back to the thing. So,
The sisters
Alina, who is our Vipera.
Vipera, excuse me.
Like a viper, Vipera. So, Alina is the main female character. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Is the main female character. She gets kidnapped. She's tortured. Silas goes along with the torture, and Luca, who you found out was actually her mentor, Victor, and you have froze again. I'm just gonna keep going. You froze again. I'm
I'm not frozen. It's perfectly fine on mine.
You were on my side.
Well, that's
I'm
weird.
sorry. Anyway, so you found out Victor, who was her mentor and teacher and things, actually was a Vipera who was feeding off of her spinal fluid. He was known to do that because he doesn't have strong venom. So to be able to feed properly, he has to inject it into the spinal cord because it is a higher potency. It works as a higher potency because it's directly into the spine.
Wait, so the main character's mentor was also a vampire?
Yes.
Good lord, she's surrounded.
He was an evil one.
She's
He
surrounded.
was an evil one. Well, she's a host. So a host tastes better. They have all of the parts to be a Vipera and not to become a corrupted. A corrupted is a basic human who was turned into a Vipera, and they don't have the parts or the things to be able to grow or create fangs, and they don't have that DNA. So she had that DNA. She was a host.
Gotcha.
So remember, Alina is a poisoner. She develops poisons. She's worked in an apothecary. She genuinely is good at this. Well, she actually created a Vipera poison, which had never been done before. They didn't think it was possible. Her potency wasn't quite perfect. So when it touched Luca, it burned him. We left off thinking that he was dying.
Yes.
And she ran away with Phoebe.
Yes.
To America. And that's the last we hear about that.
Was his sister. Does she know
Which was his sister and her best friend. Yes. At this point, she does know. She also knows that she was a Vipera.
Got it.
So, Alina and Phoebe moved to New York. Specifically, Buffalo, New York.
Buffalo.
So they...
Buffalo.
So they hop over to Buffalo, New York. Remember, this is a timepiece. This is not, like, present day. They don't have cars. They're still using carriages and horses.
Much simpler time, if you will.
Yes. They had telephones.
A much happier time.
So they had telephones. So they probably had cars. I believe they had cars in Europe, but very far and few between. But they did have telephones. But it was like house telephones. Things like that.
Oh, Mr. Edison.
Yeah, pretty much. So, Alina goes to New York with Phoebe.
Yes.
And they actually make their own nest. It's more like a commune style kind of nest. Where they only have girls. Yeah, they only have girls. They got the girlies. They have both hosts and Vipera. And they all work together. They also own a apothecary in town as well. So we get transported to 2 years after the events that happened at the end of the last book. We jump back and forth a little bit in the beginning, and then you stay in that 2 years later. So they own the apothecary. They moved to Buffalo. They bought a house. They had to figure out how to buy a house, though. So Phoebe said that she was married, took Alina's last name. So she now has Alina's last name, forged documents, marriage, like, stuff, all that, and said that she was buying a house on behalf of her husband.
Mm-hmm.
So in their fictional world, Alina is her sister-in-law. And this is, so it wouldn't be weird or unnatural for them to live together. So the thing that they say is Phoebe's husband is in Europe and does his thing, or is somewhere else in New York or something like that, right?
He's traveling on business.
That's exactly what they say. So then we jump back to right at the end. So she had just used the poison on Luca. And so what you find out is that Luca got a really bad scar from it, right? Because it was on the outside. Well, Silas put the remaining 4 vials of poison, because she had 5, he put the remaining 4 vials of the poison into the nest's food/blood wine supply. So he put it into the blood wine that they had, and killed the majority of the nest.
Why?
Because he was angry.
Okay.
He didn't want that to happen to her. So, I forgot to mention this the last time too.
Wait. Who put
he
it in the blood
essentially
supply?
mated her. Huh?
Lucas put it in the supply. Lucas is...
No, Silas.
Okay. I was thinking that the bad guy did it to himself, and I was like, the heck?
No. He loves the nest. That's where he gets free food. He does their bidding, that's fine. He likes being a part of the nest. Luca does. He gets whatever he wants. Silas does not. He's felt trapped the entire time. He's technically the heir to the nest. He doesn't like it. He never has.
Yes.
He doesn't like his father. He's watched his father kill and kill and kill. And I won't get into who he killed, because we're not going to talk about that. But he's killed a lot of people.
Traps.
And people that Silas was close with. Or watched people that he was close with kind of go through. So, Silas killed the whole nest, essentially. Luca hadn't drank from the wine yet when they all started having these poison symptoms. He didn't touch it.
Naturally.
So, he actually got to stay alive. And he kind of threatened Luca.
The top guy first.
Oh, the top guy is Silas's dad. That's why Silas hasn't been messed with. Silas won't be messed with because he's the
Luca
only
is
heir.
not Silas's dad. Who is Luca?
No. Luca is who was Victor. So he was using the fake name Victor. He was Alina's teacher and professor, like that guy.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
He's the one with the spinal fluid drinking.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's who Luca is.
Back on track.
Yep. So, I'm going to tell you right now, Silas is angry because Silas mated Alina.
Yeah, so that's like his person.
Because of the knot thing, he mated her. He couldn't drink her blood. He couldn't drink anybody else's blood, I think, for a good year to a year and a half. It might have been less. It might have been half a year. It's between that range. He could not keep down other people, like other blood. Not host, nothing. Because he's mated to her. That's who he's supposed to be drinking from.
Right.
So, yeah. So, Silas did tell Luca, though. Like, he threatened him, he held him up by swords, all that fun stuff. So, he told Luca that it wasn't up to him whether he lived or died. That it was up to Alina.
Oh.
And she would make that choice. So, he was angry. Okay? He was real angry. Because the love that he has now left him.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks that she's going to come back to him. Newsflash, she does not.
Oops.
It's been 2 years. So, yeah. So he decides to also go to New York. Start his own nest. But he goes to New York City. So. And he does this to look for her, obviously. So we're going back to the present, the 2 years later, right, with Alina. So Alina uses male vipera for her experiments.
Uh-oh.
So they lure them in. They lure them into, like, alleyways or at their houses, things like that, and use them for blood and medicinal purposes. So she actually uses venom, saliva, and their blood. The blood she uses to help, I believe the blood she uses to help, like, create poisons and things and, like, do experiments and figure out potencies and things like that. The spit, the saliva, is actually used for medicinal specifically because it helps heal. But the venom is what is a full pain reliever. So it's really, she can use all three of them. So they end up collecting 3 male vipera and then also a male detective vipera. The detective said that if they kill him, that he, not telling you who he is, but in quotes he, will find her. Especially if he finds the detective's body, and that he will find it. The detective called her a black widow, a poisoner, like, she is known. They decide to kill him anyway, though. And she says that they'll make sure he isn't found. So Alina, though, you learn, has been having nightmares about running from Vipera and being caught and bitten, and a big part of it is, from my interpretation of this, is because she ran away from the nest, because she ran away from what was happening to her, it's kind of haunting her.
I mean, trauma.
It was not a great experience. It was, her time in the nest was very much not a good situation.
Obviously.
So, like I said, Silas does successfully make his own nest in New York City. It was difficult, but he does it successfully. But there is an issue with his nest, is that he can't really find enough hosts in New York City. So he's struggling with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he still believes after 2 years, that Alina will come back to him on her own.
No. Not happening.
And she hasn't, and she's not planning to. So Luca actually found her because someone, when I was reading and making these notes, I said, my guess is Phoebe, which it was confirmed that it was in fact Phoebe, made a purchase on her father's account for pink silk to be delivered to Buffalo, New York. And Silas doesn't really want to believe that Alina left and fled with his sister.
Yeah.
But obviously that's exactly what she did.
Like, sorry, bro.
So Silas did what any man in love would do that was absolutely obsessed with somebody. He made the journey to Buffalo, and while at a train bar, met a young blonde girl who was interested in him.
Uh-oh.
He was not interested, but he humored her. What you actually find out was she was not interested, she was actually hunting.
Oh dear.
She was also a Vipera.
Heaps.
So, actually, based on the context clues that you get, this is one of Alina's girls, specifically the youngest, that Alina took under her own wing and spends most of her time with outside of Phoebe. Her name is Edith. Edith works at the hospital. So she's one of the main people to, like, help people out and help others. She gives them venom. So, Edith, being young and naive, actually tells Silas about the nest that she lives in.
Oh no.
She doesn't tell her where she doesn't tell him where it is, but she does talk about it, and she even talks about Alina. So Silas watches Alina. He finds her, obviously, and he watches Alina while she sits on a bench, watching a frozen pond. I'm going to tell you right now, I listened to the audio version again, because the clicking sounds were once again in this book.
The clicking noise.
And there were so many more clicking sounds. And honestly, if you do like audiobooks, I do recommend this series in the audiobook version, because you get more of like that suspense and like that stuff. Because there's some times where it didn't mention that the clicking was in the book, but it did happen in the audiobook, and it was specific times that were good for it. Because you got that little foreshadowing because you were in that one person's point of view while these things were happening. Because you already knew, because specifically in this one, where he was watching her, you knew he was watching her because that chapter happened first. And then you switch over to hers, where she starts to feel like the tingles down her spine and and like stuff, but nothing happens. And she just leaves the pond. He didn't want to go after her yet. He just watched her. He was about to, like, he fully reached out to grab her and then just backed out of it. And like, while you're listening to that, on her end, you actually hear his clicking noises. So I thought that was cool. Like, as she's walking away, you can hear the Vipera clicking noises. So, eventually, I'm skipping a lot because I don't want to give too much away, because it's very much like a mystery kind of thing that you're figuring out while you're reading the book. So she eventually does go to a party set up by a nest nearby to go hunting for more male vipera, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Silas has heard of this, obviously, from Edith. Because he's become, like, friends with Edith, essentially.
Naturally.
Uses her for information, talks to her, all that. So he watches Alina as she stalks and starts to trap a man in her clutches, essentially, with flirting. And, you know, she starts to look around and, like, just is flirty with the guy. And then her eyes meet Silas's. This is the first time she's seen him in 2 years. So she walked up to him. They silently started dancing. And then she stabbed him with a small knife in his side.
Well, then.
Silas, being the masochist that he is, leans into it and stabs himself on it further. So, they talk, and she tells him that she doesn't need him. And then Edith comes over, and Alina is confronted with the fact that Edith is like, what a main reason that he got to her. Then he let her go to find her again, and Edith doesn't really come home that night. Edith doesn't always come home, mind you. It's not, like, weird. So he goes to her house that night, and they fight, right? He ends up on the floor with Luca next to him. He legitimately just shows up at her nest, and they all, like, beat the hell out of these two boys. Out of these two men. So Luca's there, and she's, like, a little betrayed by the fact that he's even still alive. She tells Silas, like, he's like, it was a gift to you. I did this for you. And she's like, you wanted to do something for me? You should have killed him. Like,
Valid.
he should be dead.
Valid.
And then she's like, oh, but I do like what happened to your face. I'm glad that I gave you that nice little reminder. So Silas actually starts to instill...
Did he actually do anything to her?
Who, Luca?
Silas.
Silas? Yes.
Okay, never mind that. Alright, that answers that. I couldn't remember if it was one of those weird ones or not. Because I'm like, wait a minute, did he actually do it?
Because I didn't talk about it. Because they had a cat and mouse thing that was really cute and fun. It was very much like a cat and mouse thing where she's a sadist, he's a masochist, and vice versa, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
But while she's in the nest, yes, he participates in some of the things because he can't get away from them. It's his... So without telling you too much, because you learn this later on, what you learn is when he was biting her in the nest, like forcefully biting her, he wasn't actually drinking blood from her like Luca was. He was actually giving her pain relief because he knew Luca didn't have any. So he was essentially like overdosing her on pain reliever. And like pain reliever that's like 10 times stronger than morphine, as they say.
Very nice.
So it's like full drugs. So yeah, you learned later on that what he was doing was fully to protect her because he couldn't get her out of it safely, and he knew that. And he kind of just had to let it happen. Luca was just an asshole. I shouldn't probably say that on this podcast. We're trying to be PG. Whoops. Anyway,
oh well.
Just put a donkey sound. Just put a donkey sound or something.
I did.
But
before.
anyway, I know you did. But anyway, back to this. So Silas starts to like instill fear in her nest and offers her a deal. And when he first saw her, he threw a fang at her in a handkerchief. And I'm pretty sure the fang and the handkerchief was actually made out of a piece, like a cloth of material. Pretty sure the Fang was actually the guy that she was talking to earlier on that evening at that party. So he fully killed that man and ripped out his fang and stuff for touching
Murder.
her. He's a little possessive, you know? But anyway, the deal was to have the two nests merge together because he needed hosts, they needed protection. He doesn't realize they really don't need that much protection. They actually do, though. And later on, it's kind of something that they got to deal with. But anyway, so, the deal was to have the two nests merged together because Silas can't find hosts, and Alina needs help with the corrupted, which the corrupted, like I said, is a type of turned vampire that was purely human and not a host. So hosts can be turned safely. You have born Vipera, and you have corrupted Vipera. So those are the three, so you have born Vipera, corrupted Vipera, host turned Vipera, and you have humans. And those are the three things. And, or four things. Obviously, there's hosts, too, in their own right. So, technically, there's 5, classifications throughout this. The corrupted are essentially, bloodthirsty zombies, right? If they don't feed, almost immediately when they become turned, it's not great. And their life expectancy gets cut, immediately. They might, if they're well fed by a nest and created for a purpose, they might live 50 years on a good, well-fed, well-kept type.
Wow.
Usually, even in good nest conditions, they live to be about 30 years past their turn time. But typically, they actually live 6 months to a year. Sometimes not even that long. So it's not ideal to turn them. They're not worth it. They don't have the parts. It's a miserable life. They don't have the teeth or the equipment to actually be able to bite and drink blood. So, and eat blood. So they tear. They tear flesh. So it's not great, right? One of the main parts of his deal, though, you're frozen again. You're back, okay. Was for Alina to marry him. And she does not want to do that.
Naturally.
So, her hosts in the nest would be treated as luxury. This is what he's telling her. Her hosts in his nest would be treated as luxury, always having food and fancy things, because he has the capital to be able to do this. She doesn't. They're all working, essentially, and, splitting money and items and food equally. So, and the deal is honestly way better for her than it is for him. She gets money, she gets power, she gets help. The only thing that changes is that now her hosts would have to typically feed more people. But she can also recruit more hosts. He wants to have that host relationship, right? But then obviously, it's really good on the surface for everybody except for her, because she'd have to marry him. They get better lives and safety from the corrupted, but again, she has to marry this man that she hates.
But she doesn't
and that
hate him.
That she once really, fell for.
Because she doesn't actually hate him.
So her initial reaction, well, she's really betrayed by him. She actually really does hate him at this moment. Fully actually does hate him at this moment. Is not happy with him. He did some major things that she doesn't know were to protect her, technically. And the way he went about it, he shouldn't have done, but I digress. So, her initial reaction, tell him no. Kick him out. But he tells her that he'll give her a week to decide, and he leaves. So, a little bit later, they barter about the deal. But he is not budging on the marriage. He's like giving her every single thing that she wants, except for the marriage. He's like, you have to marry me. And she's really mad about this. But it's literally the only thing that he cares about happening, is for her to marry him. So then he pulls her into an alleyway, and he kisses her. But it was more like being devoured, because he wasn't letting her go. And she was like trying to get away at first, and then she kind of just melted into it. But she's still not happy about it, because she still does hate him. But that's like their thing, right? That's like their weird cat and cat. They call it the cat and cat thing, right? It's not cat and mouse, but it is. It's like cat and mouse, but they're both the mouse at some points, and they're both the cats at some points. So, then he does a little bit of spicy spice. He shoves his glove in her mouth and uses his ungloved hand for something else. Yep.
Heidi then.
Yep. He shoves the glove in her mouth so she can't make too much noise. And so that the people on the street can't hear her. So I'm going to skip a couple more things, right? Again, extra spoilers here. But I will say that Alina is being thrown fully back into the trenches of a relationship with Silas, whether it's hostile or not.
Dun, dun, dun.
So she's been fully thrown back into the hatred for both Silas and Luca, but it seems even though she's fighting Silas and definitely does hate him, she also missed the rush that she got with fighting with him. She was really missing that. So Luca was actually tasked with watching Edith at the hospital to make sure she's okay, since he's a trained doctor and he needed something to do. So that's what he does. And he does have like this really weird interest in her though. Like, I don't know if it's anything past curiosity at like the point of the book that at the point in the book that I was reading. But it's interesting. And he did fully ask her to be his friend. So that was kind of cute. And they were friends, actually.
Be my friend.
And so they bond a little bit. They talk about, like, she talks about pasts and presents. And he talks to her a little bit. Doesn't share a ton, but tells her a little bit, like, surface level stuff. So then Alina goes to a masquerade with her hosts and, her girls, to develop a business relationship right? To develop this business relationship with some of these nests in the area, because she has started a host union. She's unionized the hosts.
We're unionized vampires. That's hilarious.
Yes, it is cool. It's literally, she unionized the vampire feeding, right? Because hosts are the prime thing to feed off of, because it's human blood technically, but it's special where they only have to feed once a month. So you only have to feed off of a host once a month, whereas with a normal human, you have to feed off of them every couple days. So it's a little bit better blood, it's a little bit more nutrition kind of stuff. But of course, Silas is there and starts some issues that end in Alina using her perfected Vipera poison on the sire of the nest. So he is like the big male head honcho of the nest. It made all the Vipera quiet down and scared. Because there's now a new predator that came from their food source, and it can actually kill them. She literally touched that man with this poison. He didn't ingest it, nothing. Wiped it across his neck, because he grabbed her, because Silas started like this thing about hosts and stuff. So everybody was grabbing hosts as fast as possible. Like, why should we have to, bow down to these union rules? She swiped it across his neck. His
That's
neck started
why.
bleeding. His neck immediately started bleeding. It stopped. It started to burn him. And then it, like, started to just spider web out this black, like, thing. And he died. So, they're all freaked out, right? Silas also scared. But he's intrigued, and he's a weird little man. So, he's a weird man, right? And he's in love with this girl.
Weird little man.
Because at the end of the day, he doesn't want to break that bond with her. So he still has it. He's still after it. He loves her. He wants her. And that's the only thing he wants. That is literally the only thing that he cares about, is getting her back.
Oh. So cute.
And to mess with her, because that's how he does that.
Because he's got issues.
So he
Today's
was
episode is brought
able
to you
to
by trauma.
he was able to eventually keep blood down, like I mentioned earlier. But at this party, he drank from Alina again. With her permission, she allowed it. And he was already hooked again. He was like, God, this is the best thing I've ever tasted. I don't ever want to, like, not have this again. Stuff like that, right? So, also, because of what happened to Luca before that caused, like, his face to be left scarred, he was a bit terrified of what could have happened to him. Like, he had a nice little, like, introspective moment of the fact, like, oh my God, if she had, like, a little bit more time on any of this, I would be dead.
Dead.
I would not be living. Girl, is your phone ringing?
Unfortunately, because it's tied to here, and I actually had, it's somebody who called earlier, but they didn't leave a message. And I actually had someone earlier who said, I called a few times and you didn't answer, so I'm leaving a message because I couldn't reach you by phone. And I'm just like, you know, I would have called you back a lot sooner if you had left a message immediately.
Yeah.
People are dumb.
That's funny. Yep. Anyway.
Plus, it's 6:22.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
So Luca's freaked out because he's like, oh my God, she could have killed me, and she very well can kill me now. No wonder she's able to keep these people within this tight leash. So,
I mean, it's easy to behave when your life is on the line.
Yeah. So we end up back at the hospital again, right? And Luca tells Edith about his past, and she hugs him, and he enjoys it because to his surprise, it gave him like a slight spark of bliss to be hugged and appreciated. During that conversation, you actually learned that Luca was not a born Vipera. He was a turned Vipera. He was a host that was turned. Within this conversation, Edith was as well. So Edith was a turned Vipera as well. What you learned, though, is that a host Vipera goes through a lot to become changed. Right. It is very hard. It is not easy. It is painful. It is excruciating. It's terrible.
Makes sense.
So, yeah. So, Silas, you know, like he does, stalks Alina and follows her to her apothecary lab, which is where he finds her slumped against the wall with venom and alcohol next to her, an empty venom syringe, and alcohol next to her.
Alcohol.
That's why she was in the state she was. So what he learns from this is that she had been dosing on venom since well before the initial kidnapping, 2 years prior. And she had been upping the dosage because she started to become immune to it. And she had been self-medicating her mental problems away.
Oh.
The mental afflictions. So she does what she normally does when she does this, which is she appeared to be having a seizure. Because too much venom can cause issues without you dying.
Uh-oh.
So, again, Silas loves her. and is actually very worried about her when this happens. In her drug state, like, he held her until she, came back to and stuff. And in her drug state, she actually reaches out to Silas and kisses him. And he doesn't let it go any further than that because man is a gentleman in his own weird way. He's still very weak to her. He still cares about her. But she also tells him that he broke her heart. Aww. And that's where you really, like, see the you broke me, like, kind of thing come out from her. So he brings her back to her nest, and him and Phoebe have a fun little heart-to-heart sibling talk about the fact that Phoebe has known that Alina's been using venom, but she didn't realize to the extent, and she thought she had stopped it.
Oh.
Because Alina was actually asking Phoebe to bite her at multiple times, but then Phoebe started to realize that at least a liter of venom was missing from every month. And Alina just said it's the distilling process. You lose, amount because of that. And Phoebe's like, that's not it. But evidently, over the course of a month, she was using a liter worth of venom. And you're not supposed to use that much. It's very potent. So, the two actually do eventually get spicy again.
Oh, snap.
But within this is where Silas tells her what he did. What he did to save her. That, what he did was to save her. The thing she hates him for the most is what he did to save her. And she asks him why he didn't just kill her, and he tells her that he knows she'd hate to be like him, because she had enough venom in her system at that point that she would have turned. And she's starting to realize that she still cares for him more than she wants to, but she's stubborn. So, what also happened that day, so the knot in question is his downstairs actually splays, there's spines on it that splays out and hooks in and adds in an even more potent version of the venom. So, he's hooked in there with, full-on, hooks. With spines, essentially.
Oh my.
Full-on spines, hooked into her. And she is all for it, and, the dosing and things.
Remember the weird book I read last episode?
Yes.
I hadn't finished the second half, but, the other guy that we didn't know what he was yet, his has spines. That,
cool. That's funny.
All I can think of is those bumpy dog toys.
Don't say that.
That's all I can think of. Because the dogs have one.
His is
very inappropriate.
His is apparently not bumpy at all. The spines kind of just retract and come out. So anyway. So he actually, when they're doing the spicy times, she wants him to essentially spine her, right?
Naturally.
And he doesn't. He's still in her. He, still goes off in her, but he pulls back fully so that none of the spines are in her. Because he knows that she's got an issue with the venom. And he doesn't want to see her have a seizure again. She's a little upset about it, but she doesn't, she's still just enjoying the fact that that they're doing this again, essentially. She's still stubborn. She doesn't want to admit that she's enjoying it. But they do. So on a different day, or it might have been the next day, actually, the girls lost one of their own to a corrupted. It was not a good day. It pushed the girls to tell Alina that they want her to take the deal. That they've all been talking. They were like, we really want you to take that deal. We need this help. And And, you know, as much as she doesn't want to take the deal, she knows she's kind of backed into a corner. And then Alina and Silas have, like, a sweet moment, and they agreed on their terms. Silas actually, because she met him in his hotel room. So Silas got food brought up to the room while he cleaned her up, because she was covered in blood and dirt and all kinds of stuff. They didn't do anything. They didn't do anything spicy. They talked.
Oh.
And she ate, and they cleaned her up, and he cleaned her up while she ate. And, like, picked, like, dried blood and dirt and all kinds of stuff, like, out of her hair, off of her skin. He fully just, like, took care of her while she was eating. And, when they were done, he took her to a giant 5-story building that he actually bought for her when he first learned about her nest and that she was staying with more people. But the best part was actually the top floor unit, which is what he bought the place for, which was a giant room. It was a beautiful, like, unit upstairs with a glass observatory in it for her plants, and, like, she started to like fully imagine, like, what it would be like filled with her plants and a work desk. And then he actually put a bottle of champagne up there for her, and, like, they drank champagne and talked until the sun came up, and actually, like, fully had a conversation and just sat next to each other and drank their champagne.
Aww.
So the girls moved into the new building with Silas and Luca moving in as well, and for protection purposes and things. And Silas fully furnished and decorated Alina's apartment, and it was perfect. Like, it was perfect for her. She didn't know he was doing this. She literally went upstairs and she saw it, and it was perfect. He matched her apothecary colors, all of it. Mm-hmm. And, like, her decoration in the apothecary, and he put up, like, poisonous plant photos and everything, and it was really well done. Like, scientific plant things. It was very well done. And later that evening, she had a talk with Luca. And they settled a few things. Right? Mm-hmm. And then Alina was eventually attacked while she was on her way home by a corrupted. She did live, and Silas took care of her while she recovered. But then a couple other things happened, and we're going to stop there. So,
oh, no. No, I don't know anything.
I think there was still, like, 100 books left. Not 100 books. I think there was still 100 pages left in that where I stopped. You learn a lot.
You can learn a lot.
It is a highly good read, guys. I just realized that I did not put in a spice rating. I'm giving it a 3 because, one, it doesn't have a ton of spice. It is very plot focused, which I kind of liked, because it's like a mystery gothic kind of thing. And they have, like, a cat and mouse thing back and forth. But I am giving a 3 because it's nodding. It's a vampire with, like,
I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff going on, so it's not exactly
there
normal.
Is. And there's a lot of kinks and things, like, in that. So we're gonna make it a 3. Because, again, it's not, like, super spicy focused. The spice is just, like, sprinkled in there. Like a hey, there's this too. But once again, I really loved this book. It was very good. If you liked the first one, definitely read the second one. It's a continuation. It's awesome. And I can't wait for the last one, which is The Cannibal. So, that's kind of a hint as to what happens, but we're just going to leave it at that. So, yeah, highly recommend it. It was very good. If you want updates from us, follow us on Instagram. We are most active on there. TikTok, we're on there. We don't really use it, guys. I'm sorry. We're really bad about it. Hopefully.
We need a social media manager.
It's called us.
I know. I wish we had a younger sibling who was unemployed.
Same.
Like, back in the day, that used to be what you did.
Yeah.
My younger sibling is very much employed and married and has his own problems.
I am the younger sibling.
You are
so.
the problem. So.
I got too important of a job. I didn't really. I'm not really that important, but I am busy a lot with my job. In life. But
I feel pretty important. I don't want to be important.
You are very important at your job.
I don't want to be important no more.
I'm sorry, but when your name's on it, you can't be not important, girlie.
I know. I'm very important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
You were integral. But anyway, if you want to listen... If you want to listen, if this is the first episode you've ever seen or listened to,
welcome.
Wow. Hello. Welcome.
Go back a few
If
episodes.
you want to see more of us, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, technically Audible, Amazon Music. I think that's it. There might be some other random platforms out there that we're on technically that link up to those. But happy reading. Enjoy your books. Enjoy your weird, enjoy your happy, enjoy whatever you enjoy.